Samsung may be finally shaking up its top-of-the-line Galaxy S series in 2027, and this shakeup would be major. This is Inside the Green Bubble, where we talk about Android things. Specifically, I've got to tell you about the new Galaxy S27 family growing from 3 models into 4. The S27, the S27 Plus, the S27 Ultra, and the brand new Galaxy S27 Pro. But before we get to the shiny new Pro model, we have to talk about the base Galaxy S27. You want new cameras? You want new lenses? Forget it. No sir, leaks say Samsung is tossing in the exact same main, wide, and zoom lenses into the hardware blender yet again. If this turns out to be true, that will be 6 straight years of Samsung throwing the exact same image sensors into their standard flagship phones. 6 years. Do you remember what you were doing 6 years ago? What was the year 6 years? Anyway, Samsung is relying heavily on software magic, new image signal processors, and artificial intelligence to make your photos look better every year. They want you to believe that the hardware doesn't matter as long as the brain behind the camera is smarter. Now, can new image processing tech make these same old cameras take better pictures? Well, yeah, sort of. But that just means the picture you end up with is more created than captured. I'd prefer camera hardware advances, but I'm scared. If Samsung is just selling us the same hardware every year, is it shifting its focus from hardware to software and AI? Computational photography is great, but physics is still a thing, people. A fresh camera sensor with a larger aperture drinks in way more light and keeps your shots looking crisp before the algorithms even touch them. You need good raw data before the AI takes over and decides what your picture should look like. But let's wipe away our tears and move on to the real reason we are here, the star of the show, the Galaxy S27 Pro. Why a 4th phone? Because Apple. Samsung is sick and tired of watching Apple parade around with the Pro and the Pro Max. If you don't keep up with the Apple stuff, Apple has 2 Pro models that are spec'd out. The one that maxes out all the specs is the Pro Max, hence the name. So now it's time for a change. Samsung would be splitting the high-end luxury bracket into a duo, the Pro and the Ultra. My fellow phone nerds, do you remember the Galaxy S25 Edge? The phone that was supposed to essentially kill the Plus model forever? It died quickly because of brutal market feedback, so Samsung panicked and brought the Plus back to life. Yeah, well, the S27 Pro avoids that mistake. It's an expansion to fix the Plus problem, not a replacement. They finally realized people want top-tier specs without having to buy a phone the size of a small tablet. So what exactly are we getting? The leaks say we're looking at a 6.47 to 6.5 inch display. That's bigger than the S26's screen, but smaller than the S26 Plus. For comparison, the Galaxy S26 Ultra has a giant 6.9 inch display, so the Pro is meant to appeal to those who think nearly 7 inches is just too big. What? Samsung is apparently dropping the S Pen for the Pro because Samsung hates me, but no stylus garage means the Pro can pack a massive 5,000 milliamp hour battery with 45 watt fast charging. That's a big battery for a compact phone. And for cameras, the S27 Pro might inherit almost the exact same setup as the S27 Ultra. A 200 megapixel main camera paired with a 50 megapixel ultra wide and a 50 megapixel telephoto camera with a 3.5x optical zoom. But wait, there's more. Here's the actual major feature that proves the Pro is basically a mini Ultra. According to leakers, Samsung is testing the privacy display for the S27 Pro. Now this tech debuted on the S26 Ultra and alters the pixel structure, so snoops sitting around you can't see your business. Now let's zoom out for a bonus extra, because as good as the S27 Pro sounds, Samsung as a corporation is probably a little worried. For 25 years, they were the undisputed kings of South Korea's stock market. Recently, they were dethroned by SK Hynix. Why? How does Samsung lose its home turf crown? Because SK Hynix just surged to a $1.35 trillion market cap thanks to the huge AI shift. They are building the high bandwidth memory chips that literally feed the AI monsters at Nvidia, Google, and Microsoft. And here's why it's so worrisome for Samsung. SK Hynix captured a whopping 61% share in the high bandwidth market. Samsung, they only have 17%. These RAM modules are the backbone of modern tech. SK Hynix's chairman straight up warned that if you try to pull their HBM chip out of an AI server and replace it with a rival brand, the entire system might just collapse. It is a strict dependency, or amazing hyperbole. SK Hynix invested heavily when the market was slow, and Samsung seems to be behind the times. So how is Samsung fighting back in this ruthless AI race? Well, they just handed the keys to OpenAI's business chatbot to every single person in their device experience division all around the world. They are forcing a massive deployment of ChatGPT Enterprise so their employees can use it to write code, debug software, automate workflows, and even do marketing. Hey ChatGPT, can you design or source me a new lens for the S27? No. So would you buy the 6.5-inch S27 Pro to get the privacy display and the 200 megapixel camera? And is a half a decade of the same camera hardware on the base S27 a total deal breaker for you? Tell me in the comments. I still read every YouTube comment. And by the way, I forgot to mention, I actually respond too. I'm Ayaz Akhtar, and I'll see you online.